Hello and welcome. It's Gone Solo GOZR episode 4. I am your host and storyteller, Royce Rosewood. We are playing GOZR by JB West using the Mythic Game Master Emulator System, 2nd edition, to create an adventure with some weird goos in a post-apocalyptic world. In our last episode, Camm, our wizard, was suffering from paranoia due to the heat, one of Care drawbacks as being a wizard. We represented this as a combat between Camm and a paranoia demon, and Camm was able to break through the paranoia and meet up with their friend Xamxes to come up with a plan to stop the evil wizard Liza from her plan to presumably take over the city. Unfortunately, before they could do that, Liza's plan went into motion, and her stolen spider crafts and her green clover spear wielding minions spread out across the city. Camm and Xamxes tried to stop one of these crafts, instead fell from a balcony and were captured. But before they could be taken to Liza's dungeon, Basingstoke, who is Camm's rat familiar, broke free their bonds, and as they were both running, they were pulled into a safe house with a large, colorful mural on it, and were pulled in, and that is where we left things. We don't know who is in the safe house or what's going on, or if they're actually safe, but that is what we're going to find out today. So that is what happened last episode, some bookkeeping things. So the last episodes that you've all watched, I actually recorded sort of in a batch. I was going on vacation, so I had to record a whole bunch of episodes, and so I could keep releasing them weekly. So it's finally time for me to catch up on all your comments, which have been great. And I have a couple of other bookkeeping things. So one of those is that this thread of, luring Liza out into the desert. Obviously, we're way beyond that. So now the thread is called Stop Liza from Taking Over the City. I know it keeps transforming, but that's what happens. Things are moving really fast, and our ideas about what is actually happening in this story keep changing. So there's that. I also realized that if Camm and Xamxes had been captured, their weapons would probably have been taken from them. So Camm no longer has the bad axe. The climbing gear was probably broken or left, so that's gone too. However, I am going to give Xamxes a chance, whenever this becomes relevant, to see if they were able to successfully hide their butterfly knife and their blowgun. So whenever that becomes relevant, we'll do a retroactive cunning to see if they were able to keep it hidden. A couple things from comments. JV West, the creator of this game, has been following along and commenting, so hi, and thanks so much for your comments. I can finally catch up now. They pointed out that there are rules about lucky symbols. They get a +2 per day, so once per day for their lucky symbol, so we can use that. And also there's an optional rule, or a rule that was not included in the rules, where wizards can use hit points after they have lost all their wizard points. So we can definitely work that in now. Also, I didn't write down the username, but somebody commented that these characters are very Muppety. And I absolutely agree, and that's a really helpful and clarifying comment. I think the tagline for this, what we're doing here, this story, is post-apocalyptic Muppets. Oh, one other thing. I think for our purposes, I'm still kind of thinking about this. We'll see how this goes. But in the game, right, each player gets 5 points of goos, which means for me, I've got 10 points of goos to spend between these two characters, and that feels like a lot to me. I think for our purposes, for solo, I might reduce that to where I just have a common pool of just 5 goos. So it's still the same day in the story, but I think next time we refresh, I'll just refresh to 5. That'll just keep things a little bit more interesting, a little bit tighter, make the spending of that goos a little bit more important, just to make it more fun. So I think we'll do that. So I think that's everything. So let us jump in and find out what happens next. Let's go. Right, when we play with Mythic, we sort of set out the idea of what we think the next scene is going to be, and then we test our expectation. So my expectation is we're going to be figuring out what is going on in this safe house, meet with whoever these people are, and then hopefully have a little bit of time for downtime to have Camm and Xamxes kind of connect. So let's see if that is the case. Our chaos factor is currently 5. So we roll to see what happens here. 8. So we roll over. The scene proceeds as expected. So who are these people in this safe house? Well, I assume, maybe I need to test that expectation. We know that there's the one person. Is it just the one person, or is it a group? Is it a group of people? Fate chart. I'm going to say that seems likely to me. Is it a group of people inside this safe house? Roll under 65. 45, yes. Okay, so it is a group of people. And also we are in the southern quarter here at this safe house, and this is where Camm is from. And Camm, we know, was a street preacher, spent a lot of time on the street helping the poor and destitute. So it seems likely to me that Camm might know who these people are or be aware of what this organization is. So does Camm know who these people are? That seems very likely to me. Rolling under 75. That is a 40. Yes. Camm knows who these people are. So who are they? Well, I was wondering if there was like a faction table, and there is this cult table. So I'm going to ask the fate chart, is this group a cult? 50-50, I have no idea. If we roll under 50, it is indeed a cult. 18, yes, it is a cult. So let's roll on this cult table. Ooh, fun. Okay, it's a D66. We'll have orange be the tens dice. Okay, 23. These are the divine libertines. Break all the rules. Well, what I would imagine that to mean is that they would be against any sort of the anarchists, basically, right? Opposed to any sort of power structure whatsoever. So they have been opposed to the enforcers, and then they would also be opposed to Liza's new regime, whatever she's trying to establish. Great. So I think the enemy of the enemy is my friend. I think these might be friendly. Let's roll up a name for this. The person who pulled them in. Blue is 10s. 14. Tad. And Tad is what? Is it they, them? Okay. Camm and Xamxes have just been pulled in through this muraled door. The door's closed behind them. Their eyes take a little bit to adjust. And as it comes around, they kind of see couches and, tapestries hanging. And, there's Goose kind of sitting around. And there's somebody painting. And there's somebody with a guitar. And somebody just like breaking stuff. But the vibe is like pretty chill. But people seem like a little tense, a little scared. Camm recognizes Tad, who is known from Camm's activities in the Southern Quarter, and says,
well, I am very glad to see the face of a friend, Tad. We were trying to escape the minions of Liza, and you have rescued us, and for that, once again, I am grateful to you and yours.
Tad says,
Yeah, well, of course, Camm, you've helped ours and ours for many a time, so anything we can do to repay the favor, of course. Who is your friend?
This is Xamxes, my companion, and we have been working against Liza and her minions, although not very successfully yet.
And Tad says, Well, then you are welcome here too. Make yourself comfortable and feel free to rest in the hospitality of the divine libertines. The only rule is there are no rules.
Xamxes says,
Thank you very much. I am much appreciative of your hospitality, and we shall not darken your doorsteps for too long, I am sure.
they find sort of a comfortable corner, and, you know, there's sort of just food just out, you know, sort of random foods. Is there a food table? Let's see what sort of food they have available. 1, rice balls with vinegar. Okay, so there's just some sort of rice balls with vinegar just sort of out, available for anybody to have. So they both grab some food and sit down in sort of a corner with some pillows, and of course the walls are all painted too. I'm assuming everything's just like painted. This particular painting is like a bunch of stars sort of arranged in like a, you know, flowing pattern. And so Xamxes looks up and says,
Stars, that is a good sign, for that is my lucky symbol.
And Camm sort of realizes this moment.
Indeed, that is my lucky symbol as well. I see that fate has brought us together.
We'll just sort of say, I'm just going to say, like, culturally, like, this is like your lucky symbol is sort of like an astrology thing or like a zodiac thing. And if you meet someone who's got the same one, like, that's like your buds, right? That sort of helps move the relationship along a little bit. And I'm also going to specify, this is not in the book, but I think it would be, I just think it's funny, and that's the way I keep picturing it, that your lucky symbol is also on your belly button, like a treasure troll. And so Xamxes lifts up their body wrap and says,
Yes, you may look upon my lucky symbol.
and Camm, I guess, see, what are they wearing? A skirt. Okay, so it like flips down sort of the top of the skirt to reveal the belly and says,
Yes, and you may behold my lucky symbol as well.
and this is sort of like a bonding thing for these weird creatures, and they like see each other's lucky symbol, and they are bonded together a little bit more than they were before. They've had a nice moment eating these vinegar rice balls together and looking at each other's bellies with the stars on. I think we're going to go ahead and call that a scene and give them a chance to rest, just because that's what we need to do. We replenish our goos, which we will set to a common pool of 5, like we talked about. So Xamxes will recover HP. 4 plus 1, that's 5. So that'll put Xamxes back at full HP. And now Camm is a wizard, so we have to choose between HP or Wiz, and I think we need those wizard points back. So we're going to recover Wiz. Oops. That's 2 plus 4 plus 1 is 7. Perfect. That's the full Wiz. Okay, so that scene was pretty much in control, so we're going to lower the chaos down to 4. And for this next scene, I'm not really sure. I think my expectation is we're going to, it's the next morning, and we will sort of touch base with the Divine Libertine, see if they know anything about what's going on in this quarter, and see if they can help, these, like, they can work together, and maybe like what's been going on. We'll just see. So let's roll our chaos die. Unfortunately, it is a 1. Odd is an altered scene. Okay, so we will roll on our scene adjustment table. 3, reduce, remove an activity. 66, oppose. 42, idea. Oppose an idea. Between reducing an activity and opposing an idea, what that tells me is that some members of this group not sure if they should keep doing what they're doing, right? So some people want to stay and fight, and other people want to leave and flee the city. There's sort of a meeting in the morning. I say meeting, but remember, they're against rules, so it's like all very like loose and organized, and there's not really a leader. They just sort of, different goos are throwing out ideas and saying,
"Oh, Liza, she's trying to control and put in new rules. We gotta stop her. We gotta stop her from doing rules."
And other goos are like,
No, we need to get out of here. This is no longer a good place for us. Let's just flee to a different place.
and so there's like disagreement and fighting. Well, what do Camm and Xamxes think they should do? Camm is trying to stop Liza. They are going to try to encourage the group to kind of stick together and work to fight against Liza. So Xamxes, the peace broker, the negotiator, is going to try to get everyone to come together, an agreement. So we will roll cunning. So we're trying to roll over 10. And that is a 2. So Xamxes says,
Please, listen to me. Liza represents a great threat to all of GOZR City. We should all work together and fight against her.
and this just splits the group even more. And they say,
Why should we have to listen to you? Why should we have to fight together? Why should we have to work together at all?
Yeah, we should not do anything. We should just be free and,
do what we want with no rules.
so it's just total chaos. And I think, there being no rules, there's not really anything to like bind the group together. And so people who are leaving want to leave, and people who want to stay and fight want to stay and fight, and people who want to do other things. And so it's just, people are just, kind of going their own way, totally disorganized. So Camm tries to talk to some of the people who are staying and see if they know anything about what's been going on and what Liza's been up to. So do they know anything about what's going on? It seems likely they've been living here. So we got to roll under 50. Oh, 51. Just barely a no. Oh, man, just barely. Okay. So I think maybe what that means is sort of in the chaos of Camm trying to be like,
Oh, can you help? Can you tell us anything? What's going on? Can you help us?
well, I'm sorry, can't talk. Gotta go do my thing.
and just like, gathering their stuff up and leaving, and just like heading out, and they're not able to gain any new information. Maybe they need to like go out and investigate like what's going on themselves. So we're going outside, so it's a new day, so we need to roll on our weather. What's the weather like today? 4. Wet and windy. Which is it? Windy. Oh, okay, so maybe like, the sand, storms blowing in. So what color is the sky today? 14. It's blue. Okay, great. And what is the sun's mood today? 59. Fired up. Hot today. So it's hot and windy, which also poses a problem for Camm. So they step out into the street, and the sun is really hot today, really angry and fired up, and the wind is blowing in. Sandstorms are coming in. Xamxes watches Camm, starts to
Oh no, who could I trust?
and Xamxes kind of holds them and shows off the lucky symbol and says,
Remember, we are bonded. We are star siblings. Stick with me, Camm. Can you trust me? Can you stick with me?
Does it work? We'll call that a cunning roll. That's a 6. Nope. It doesn't work. Camm flees off into the storm to deal with their own paranoia demons. I was going to come up with a system. I don't, I might do a combat sometimes, but we'll just see if Camm's able to break through today. Let's call that a magic roll. On their own today, a 6. We can use that lucky symbol and give it a +2, right? So they've used their lucky symbol today. That's a +2. That'll put it at an 8. Okay, so just barely. So Camm is, going off into the blinding sandstorm, and it's confused, and it's like,
I don't know. Get away from me, everyone.
but then like Xamxes' words come through. They think about the star and the moment that they had, and that bonded them together. And so just barely Camm's able to be like,
Oh yes, that's right. Xamxes, I can trust. That is right.
but because of the original failure, and now we'll just say that the what's happened is that now they're separated in the midst of the sandstorm. Great. So we'll call that a scene. Our heroes are split up. Who should we follow first? Let's do... one is Camm. Xamxes is 2. All right. So Xamxes is out and about. And, Xamxes is looking for Camm, but also trying to get more information about what Liza is up to. So that's our expectation. 0. Okay. So that goes on as we expect. Chaos is now 6, based on the sort of chaos of the previous scene. So does Xamxes find any evidence of Liza and her minions and their activity nearby? So it seems likely. So we're rolling under 75. 97. No. And that's almost an extreme no. So whatever's going on, whatever's happened, there's no activity in this part of the city, which is very strange. So there's no minions and there's no crafts, and that's whatever that was. It's not happening here, at least in this area. Are they able to track down Camm? We'll call that a cunning roll? Sure. 15. Yes, okay. So they are able to meet up with Camm. In the midst of the swirling sandstorm, they're able to track down Camm, who sees them and says,
"Oh, I'm so sorry I got away. He has gotten the best of me, but I've remembered. And I remember, yes, we are star siblings. I'm sorry I ran away. I'm working on it. It's just part of this magic thing."
And then he says, "Yes, I understand, and I know. But we really need to figure out how we can stick together if we are going to take down Liza. If we keep getting split up, this isn't going to work. We need to do something about that."
I think I'm just going to go ahead and roll on this random event table. Because we kind of got to the point where I'm not really sure what Liza's up to. I'm not really sure what Camm and Xamxes' plan is, and there's no activity, what's going on. So normally you only roll at a random event at specific times, but I'm just going to go ahead and roll one just to kind of help us keep moving and see what happens. All right, so that is a 56. Move away from thread, of course. Which one is it? 2. Endless sandstorm bombards the city. Oh, okay. Well, that's already happening. And so it's just going to get even more difficult. So the sandstorm picks up and sand is blowing everywhere, and then it just gets really, really intense, to the point where, sand is coming up against buildings and it's blocking streets, and they are just getting, buried. Is there some sort of, something that they can hide behind? I don't know. 50-50. Chaos Factor 6. Do they find anything that they can hide behind? Yes! Let's roll on this structure descriptor. 62 is a white structure. It's an abandoned building, plain white walls, no glass in the windows, no door in the door frame. Go in, get their, the sand is coming up and kind of trying to bury them. They make their way into this building, and, the sand is still kind of pouring in. Is there anyone else here? Anyone else taking shelter in here? 26? Yes. Who is it? Is it somebody we know? Is it somebody on our characters list, or is it somebody new? 8. It is absolutely, in its extremeness, as somebody on our characters list. So, who is it? 8. Somebody from the pink faction, the food makers. So somebody Xamxes knows from the pink faction of food makers. What is this GOZR's name? 20. Auntie, who is a she/her. Does Auntie know anything about what's been going on in the northern quarter? Have any news? Have they fled from the Northern Quarter with news. 87, no, they don't know anything either. Weird lack of information. Not a lot of things going on. Xamxes says,
Well, good to always see a familiar face, Auntie. Have you any news from the Northern Quarter? And what's been going on?
and Auntie says,
No, I don't know. I just down here making a delivery of some food, and then I got stuck in this sandstorm, and we're all just kind of stuck here, aren't we?
Indeed. No news at all of Liza's activities up in the Northern Quarter?
Oh, no, not that I'm aware of. I've just been making food deliveries. I don't know what's going on.
This is very strange. Very strange indeed.
is the sand pouring in enough that they are going to get trapped? Seems likely to me. Yes, okay, so they have to find a way to escape. I think we're gonna call it there. So, been some wild stuff, got caught in a storm, met some new friends. We'll see where we head out. So, thanks for following along. Please like, subscribe, share. And until next time, this is Science Fantasy Awesome, and you're awesome.